Sip Sip Hooray!
Hi, and welcome to Sip Sip Hooray. I'm Mary Babbitt.
And I'm Mary Orland, and we have got a terrific show for you. We're going on another road trip. Woohoo!
Yay, road tripping!
A Sip Sip Hooray road trip for wine, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to an area, a wine growing region that is east of San Francisco.
That's right. We're going to meet a winemaker today who proves you don't have to study enology necessarily to become a very good winemaker. In fact, her path to wine started 35,000 feet above the ground. She is a former commercial airline pilot turned winemaker, and now she has a winery with her family where the motto is, it's all good at Wood. It's all good at Wood.
Every day. We are super excited to be here in Livermore Valley, east of San Francisco in Silicon Valley, at Wood Family Vineyards, and we are with Rhonda Wood, who started this winery in her garage, and now she's got this fabulous tasting room and winery that's here with a bunch of other local wineries, and we're going to get to know Rhonda and her wines. So welcome to Sip Sip Hooray, Rhonda.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy you are here today. It's good to see both of you, Mary and
the double Marys.
the double Marys.
Mama Mary.
Exactly.
Mary squared. So your path to wine is unlike most people I've met. From pilot to winemaker. Can you give us how that happened? Walk us through that. That I think is so fun.
Sure. When I was pregnant with my firstborn, Harrison, who works for us now in outside sales and events, I wasn't allowed to fly. So they didn't allow pregnant pilots to fly back then. So I had to take a leave of absence about 9 months. It's like, well, what am I going to do for 9 months? I went and got my flight instructor rating back, and I heard the old wives' tale that beer is good for the breast milk. So I figured, well, home brew must be better. So I started making beer. And as the kids got older and I wasn't breastfeeding anymore, I was like, well, what am I doing making beer? I drink more wine than I do beer. I should be making wine. So we planted 18 grapevines in our backyard, and we lived in Fremont at the time, with the intention of learning how to make wine from those vines. I planted 9 Cabernet Sauvignon and 9 Zinfandel. And it takes about 3 years to get the grapes off the vines. And a little bit more behind the history is my husband and I always enjoyed wine together. And I always thought we'd buy, some vineyard property in Healdsburg, Cloverdale, Ukiah by the time we retired.
Is he a pilot also?
No, he's not.
Okay, so you were a commercial pilot.
Right, I was a commercial pilot for U.S. Airways.
Okay.
And what type of planes were you flying?
At that time, I was flying the BA 146, which was based out of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And were there a lot of women pilots that you...
There was not, and there still is not. For some reason, it's about 3 to 5%, and really hasn't ever grown. And it's a wonderful career. The only thing that happened with us is they closed the San Francisco base, and I had to commute to Philadelphia to get to work.
Oh, wow.
And I had my kids at that time were ages 6 and 8, and my husband wasn't ready to leave this area. So that was one reason I started making wine commercially. So I saw this vineyard for sale in Livermore Valley when I was doing the Livermore Wine Harvest Festival. And I saw this property for sale, and I thought, wow, this is right in our backyard. We could keep our day jobs, and we could buy this right now, and I could start making wine right now. So, which is what we did in 1996. I made my first barrel of home winemaking. Mm-hmm. And then when U.S. Airways closed the base in San Francisco and I was having to commute, I thought, I took a leave of absence September 1st before September 11th happened. Mm. And I took a 30-day leave in order to put more of an effort into winemaking and not know where I was going to go and what I was going to do at the end of 30 days. And, of course, September 11th happened. And they had to furlough a lot of junior pilots. I was fairly senior, so I was able to get a 3-year leave of absence, which I extended into 5 years. So I had a 5-year leave of absence, which basically saved somebody else's job.
Sure.
And did you take that leave because you thought, I can't be in the air right now with the threat of terrorism or whatever?
No, I took the leave because I wanted to see if I could make the winery thing a go.
So you're hoping that would work out and you wouldn't have to go back to flying?
Well, I would love to have gone back to flying if it was back in San Francisco.
Sure.
And I would have to have had my seniority.
Sure. And that, because
yes.
Philadelphia is a heck of a commute. I mean,
Right.
we complain about the commute here all the time. But
Yeah. And at that point, I was flying 737s and then the Airbus 320s.
Mm-hmm.
So I was type rated on the Airbus 320, in fact. So...
Well, that's really risky because, you know, a steady paycheck from an airline is completely different than I might try making wine and see if I can sell this stuff, right? I
Right.
mean, that's quite a gamble.
Yeah. But the 3-year leave of absence turned into 5 years. And I was able to see that I was doing quite well and selling all the wine that I was making by myself, which was about 1,500 cases at the time.
were you a commercially bonded winery by then, or were you still a home winemaker?
No, 2000 was our bonded. We were bonded, yes. So I was already a bonded winery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And are there any skills from being a pilot that you've been able to transfer to making wine?
You know, it's interesting because it's more of a lifestyle. So when I was making wine by myself, 1,500 cases, I'd be up on a barrel by yourself, just like flying an airplane across the country. You can be by yourself and be enjoying what you're doing. And yet I like to be with people. So that it just worked. I would say artistically, maybe adventurous. Where, you know, flying, you're a bit adventurous, and winemaking, I tend to be a bit adventurous. I like to try new things, new varietals, new barrels, and I like to talk to a lot of other winemakers. And with flying, you have the war stories. You know, there I was. Okay. Well, in winemaking, all the winemakers are a lot of, you know, friends, and, you know, we drink beer together, we drink wine together, and we tell our own war stories.
There I was on top of a barrel.
There I was on top of a barrel, right?
Okay. That totally makes sense. And speaking of wine, let's talk about this first wine we have.
Yes.
All right. This is our 2017 Chardonnay. I call it Para Mas Amigas.
Now tell me about that name for my friends.
It's for more girlfriends, right?
Oh, for more friends.
So my girlfriends all wanted me to make a Chardonnay, and this right now is the only white that we do make. And they were, come on, Rhonda, please make a Chardonnay. And I thought I'd put on there Para Mas Amigas, or Para Mis Amigas, which I thought I'd put on there for my girlfriends.
Yeah.
But my Spanish is from high school days, and mas means more, so it's for more girlfriends, which everybody loves, and everybody needs more girlfriends, so that's how the name stuck.
I could see how you would get more girlfriends with this wine.
This is a delicious Chardonnay.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's from 2 different vineyards. Everything we make is from Livermore Valley grapes. This is from 2 different vineyards, one up above in the North Hills, above the Las Positas College, above the Livermore Valley Airport, and the other is East Tesla, called the Wisner Vineyard. And it's done in 100% French oak, barrel fermented, aged on the lees for 10 months. It's 100% malolactic fermentation. But I think the oak marries very well since it's barrel fermented.
What I really like about it, it's not an oak bomb, it's not a butter bomb.
Right. Yeah, it's crisp and clean, and yet it's got that nice smooth and richness from the oak. It's nice.
Thank you.
So you started in your
Garage, yes.
Yeah.
So we started with the Merlot.
And did you have to take classes, or how did you teach yourself how to do this?
Taking classes, reading, still taking classes, still reading, still talking to other winemakers, always learning, always, continuing education. Yes.
And to do this, did you have to like pull the bins of kid toys and the stuff that most of us have in our garage out to make room for the make room for grapes and barrels?
Well, no, because we had the 1,500 square foot garage. So we had we basically have a 2-car garage next to the house, and then we have another 2-car with a storage facility or a work area. Oh. So another 1,500 square foot separate from our 2-car garage.
I see. Okay.
But what was really nice was doing it by myself. I could just pick up, leave, go get the kids, bring their friends over, just drop things and go, and come down in the middle of the night in my pajamas and punch down or do whatever I needed to be done. I was just right there. It was very, the kids could grow up right with us, with the grapes.
So no commute.
No commute.
And one of your children is, having grown up with you making wine, is actually helping you now, yes?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So after he graduated from the university,
This is
Harrison.
Your son Harrison. Okay.
Yes. He did a little bit of world travel. He came back, and it was right before harvest season. He's like, what am I going to do? And well, go get a harvest job. So he went to a neighboring winery vineyard, and he worked there harvest. And then after harvest, they actually hired him in the tasting room. And then from the tasting room, they hired him to move on to sales. And so he did California sales, West Coast sales, and then they moved him up to national sales manager. And he had quite a few people working underneath him. And then they were kind of changing direction, and they wanted him to go to Miami to work and to live out of Miami. And he says, I don't really want to leave California. And he said, Mom, you need any help at the winery? So now he'd had 2.5 years experience.
Made his mistakes somewhere else.
Right? We said, yeah, we can find a place
You thought
for
he
you.
could be successful.
Yes. So he came back to work for the winery for a short bit, and he got this tasting room up and running. So we moved to the warehouse, and all of my energy was in the production, and I didn't have an assistant winemaker at that point. And he kept saying, Mom, we need to make this a tasting room. I said, you do it,
Yeah.
So he did all of this, and then he said, okay, I'm ready to go travel the world again. So he left, and he was going to be gone 1 to 4 years. And he had to come back for our assistant winemaker, who we hired just a year ago. He had to come back for his wedding. He was the best man, and that was after 5 months. And he came back, and my husband said, he's not going to go back out. I said, oh, yes, he is. He said 1 to 4 years. My husband was right. He came back, and he says, I missed it. I missed working for the family. And I loved working for the family. And so now he's come back to us. He's the executive vice president, and he will go take little trips here and there. He's going to go to Egypt this November.
Egypt.
And then he and I are both going to the Yucatan and Mexico in January. So we're going to take...
And is that to sell wine?
No.
Okay.
No, this is just pleasure
I
trips.
think so. Okay. I'm like, wait.
Yeah. So it's working out really well.
That's nice.
How lucky for
Yeah.
you.
Yes,
That whole family thing. That's
Yeah.
important to you.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
your winery is Wood Family Vineyards.
Right.
And tell me about the label. You've got a Woody on there.
Right. The rear end of a Woody, which our friend Darcy Kent painted for us.
Oh, she
and our
did?
neighbor,
I did
yes.
not know that.
Our friend and neighbor, Darcy Kent, yes. So it's the rear end of a Woody, and first family car, first family station wagon, pack it up, have some fun. You got the surfboards coming out the rear end of it. And a classic car, classic winemaking, which is what I try to do here. And if you look at the license plate, WFE 988, Wood Family Vineyards, September 88 is the month and the year we were married. Thus, we started our family.
That's great.
So there's a lot of different
That's so nice.
behind the label.
Nice kind of fun clues.
Yeah.
There. Now, what about surfing? Does surfing play any role?
We used to do windsurfing before kids. My husband a little bit after kids, but that's about it. It's more about just having fun, enjoying California lifestyle.
Well, and that's what I really think is so great about what you do with the wine, the winery. It's all about fun.
Yes.
There's no intimidation. There's no snobbery here.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, no, it's really down to earth.
Yeah.
And in fact, the space that you're in, this is kind of a cool, like little wine zone here in Livermore Valley.
Yes.
Tell me about this. This is not your typical, like, you go to Napa and you see a winery. You guys are doing it a little bit more rogue. Tell me how you guys do it.
Yeah, this
here.
is more industrial. It's
Yeah.
not a faux chateau or Italian palace.
Right. There's 4 wineries right here on Vasco. There's actually a distillery next to us. And then there's the brewery across the street. So you really have something for everybody and a lot of different nuances inside. Each one is a little bit different. We've tried to create like a lounge atmosphere here. And we have live music every Friday evening. And we do, accommodate small parties and reserve special areas for people. Yeah, it is a really fun. I like to look out the back door, and I can see across to the openings of the other warehouses, and I can just say, "Hey, Phil, good morning. Hey, Colin, what are you doing?
What up?
What up?"
That's so fun, though. Nice neighbors.
Really, really nice neighbors, and we really help each other out too.
I think it's just so cool. You've turned
Yeah.
these warehouses into wineries. I
Yes.
love it.
Yeah, no, it's been growing and growing.
Yeah.
And
And I do love having the 4 windows. 1, 2, Yeah, 4 windows here inside the tasting room that look onto the production area. And people really enjoy watching the production going on, especially during the crush and the harvest here.
Well, I think people like seeing, things happen. They like to know where things come from, how it's being made. And this is a real working winery.
Yeah, it is.
So as a female winemaker, do you feel like you bring any skills to the game that maybe men don't have? Or do you notice, is there a difference for you being a woman in wine?
No, I haven't noticed a difference.
So you haven't felt like you had to break some kind of glass ceiling to get your...
It's just like being a pilot. You have to be really good. And as long as you're good and anybody's good at what they're doing, they're going to be well respected. So I think that's been fortunate for us.
Yeah. Cool.
So some of our listeners may not know much about Livermore. What attracts you? What do you really feel is special about this region versus somewhere else in California?
Well, Livermore Valley, just being in the Bay Area makes it really special. We're, an hour east of San Francisco, 30 minutes from Oakland, 40 minutes from San Jose. So we also get the cooling breezes coming in off the bay. We're an east-west valley, so we get those cooling breezes, which really helps us keep down the temperatures. We get the cooling night, the fog that comes in. Now, it leaves a little bit earlier than the rest of the Bay Area, so usually by 9 o'clock in the morning, we're getting that warm sun again. But then it cools down at night, so we're very fortunate to have that. And I do like the warm weather that we get, and not being in the fog the whole time. We get so many visitors from San Francisco that come out. We need to get warm. We need to warm up a bit.
They need their sunshine fix.
Yeah, need a sunshine fix.
Vitamin D.
Exactly.
Besides that, I think Livermore Valley does have a lot of friendly, wineries, family friendly, dog friendly. We're very dog friendly.
Yeah. It's a nice low key place. I really love it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. Do we have more wine we should taste?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna.
Always more wine.
It's a shame to pour the Chardonnay out, but there is more wine to taste. So.
Okay, so this is our Merlot that we have not yet released. This is our 2016 Merlot. And so this is from our own vineyard. It'll be released in November.
Oh, great.
To our club members. And we call it a One Oak Vineyard. So we got Wood Family, very clever. One Oak, very clever. We got one oak tree in the vineyard.
Did it take you a while to think of that?
Right?
Merlot, as you know, got such a bad rap in a particular movie that we shall not mention.
It really did hurt Merlot.
Yeah.
In such an unfair way.
Yeah. People taste our Merlot and they just love it.
What do you like about Merlot?
Our Merlot has very, very small berries, which gives a very high skin to juice ratio. And so I think if a Merlot is made very well, it's got more structure. It's got a lot of tannins, and sometimes a little bit leaner than your Cabs, and especially Livermore Valley, not as fruit forward as some of the Cabernet Sauvignons can be. I think it's very well balanced. It goes very well with a lot of different food groups.
Yeah, this is
That
not
is a great thing about Merlot.
This is not heavy like a Cabernet or a Zinfandel. It's more kind of what I would say medium-bodied. So, but a little bit heavier than a Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
But it's really got this bright red berry fruit.
Yeah, it's a really nice wine. And you grew those grapes.
Yes.
That's
Nice.
great.
Well, this will make a Merlot lover out of anybody who has their doubts about it. You all should come try this.
We understand you worked with a couple other wineries on a mutual vintage. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Was that fun for you? Tell me about that.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. That was Dane from Page Mill Winery and 3 Steves, who actually live across from our home. And we just came up with, we get together a lot for Wednesday lunch.
All the winemakers.
Many of the winemakers.
As many who can.
That's
Yes.
fun.
Oh, neat.
And we get together every Wednesday for lunch. And the 3 of us were just sitting around, and Dane actually brought it up, said, hey, you guys want to do a fun white blend? And so they put up a little bit of whatever they wanted, Viognier, Pinot Gris, and of course, the only white wine I make is the Chardonnay. We did find out that the Chardonnay could overtake the other 2, so there was very little bit of our Chardonnay in there because we didn't want it to taste like Chardonnay. But we had a lot of fun with it. We called it Vines Intertwined, and people could get it each one of the 3 wineries. and it sold out pretty fast.
I think that speaks so much to the idea out here in Livermore Valley where you guys are in this together, and it's a community of winemakers and wine lovers. Like the people in Livermore really support you as well, and that this bottle, this vintage sold out is incredible, and it's I think so cool that 3 wineries could come together to make a single wine.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, great. All right, let's move on.
All right.
We are dumping these wines, people, so we're not just sitting around drinking all day.
Wink, wink.
All right, then I brought one of the, so we make Cabernet Sauvignon, we make Syrah, we make GSM, Grenache Syrah Mourvedre, we make Grenache on its own, Petit Syrah, lots of different wines. I did pull out one of our Zinfandels. We're very well known for our Zinfandel. This one we call the Big Wood's In.
Fun.
Yeah, some people think the Big Wood's better in the morning.
Really?
It's bigger in the morning.
Nobody has ever given that reply before. That was awesome. That was great.
Okay, so I probably wouldn't have said that after, but there's been a couple glasses of wine.
We have to have fun with wine,
right?
You know,
Whoops.
Good job, Mary.
It's a bold Zinfandel, super fruity.
Oh wow, that's terrific.
Thank you.
It's so full of flavor, but it doesn't kill you. There's no angry bite in it. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's super spicy with lots of pepper, black pepper.
Oh, this is fun. If you're a Zinfandel person, this is a good one.
Yeah, this is not going to knock you out like some of the really big Zinfandels, high alcohol Zinfandels.
Oh, this one comes in at 16.2.
So that's very balanced.
Yeah.
Very balanced. It doesn't feel that it has that higher alcohol.
Right.
Yeah. It's nice.
We make 2 different styles of Zinfandel. So the Big Wood is this big jammy little pepper, and then the other style is a little bit of sweetness. So it's a little 1.5% residual sugar.
Do you find that consumers really like a little bit sweeter wine?
Yes. That Muy Bueno, we call it Muy Bueno, and it flies off the shelf. And then when you go to, like, we just went to a function event in Oakland, and we poured there, and I made a note, next time bring the Muy Bueno, because everybody came up and said, what do you have that's sweet? Give me your sweetest wine.
Really?
And that you find that across the country. People do like sweet. That's the only wine that we do out of 14 different wines that we have that has a little bit of sweetness. Yeah. A lot of people, though, I mean, I pour them something else, and if it has a lot of fruit, they think they like sweet, but they say, oh, I like this. It's got a lot of, it's sweet, but it's not sweet. It's fruit. Their perception. So I'm not sure if everybody knows exactly what sweetness is.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of people mistake or just, think when they think it's sweet, it's really fruity because it's ripe fruit. And I think that comes across as being a little sweet.
Right.
Sure.
But also I think in the wine industry, a lot of critics and writers kind of knock people who prefer that slightly sweeter wine, that's not as sophisticated a palate.
No, wine is a beverage, so wine is meant to be drank, and if people like it, what's to say that, what someone likes is better than what somebody else likes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you shouldn't have to be punished it shouldn't have to hurt to like it. You know what I mean? Like, an approachable wine is not a bad thing. That's a great thing.
I know you shouldn't have to apologize for what you like, but there is that part of the wine world, which I think is so it's great that you are doing things to hopefully please a lot of different palates and taste buds.
Yes, and I think I had a girlfriend earlier on, a couple girlfriends, that didn't ever drink red wine. They only drank white wines. And then I made my first Muy Bueno with a little bit of residual sugar, and that I also call my red wine conversion wine.
Okay.
So they tried that. They love it. And once, the more you drink, the more you like. So
the funnier you get and the better you dance.
Yes, definitely. So those white wine only drinkers now drink all reds. They drink it all. So they converted over with the Muy Bueno, and they continued to expand,
Yeah.
and now they drink everything.
So that's a good gateway wine.
good, yes.
Well, cool. And you made a wine using a different sort of barrel?
Okay.
You know what I'm getting at?
Yes, I do. And I think you said women like to have fun.
I do. If I count, yes.
Cindy Lauper said girls just want to have fun.
Girls just want to have fun. So we made when Harrison was traveling around the world, going to be gone 1 to 4 years, we hired someone to fill in his shoes. And that was Holger, who is our general manager. And Holger is German, and Holger likes to have a lot of fun. So he came to me with the idea of doing what we did, which we call Against the Grain. And it is a red wine, a beautiful, smoky base red wine that you would like to sit with a cigar and drink. We just loved the wine as a base. And we placed that, after it was getting ready to bottle, we placed that in a bourbon barrel for 2 months. And we got the bourbon barrel from a local distillery. So we aged this beautiful red blend for 2 months in this bourbon barrel, and I'd love for you to try it.
And the barrel had bourbon in it?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to give this a whirl. It smells good. Wow. That's really good.
Thank you.
It's different.
Yes. Mm-hmm. This is 40% Petit Verdot, 30% Cab Franc, and then it's got a little bit of Syrah, a little bit of Merlot, and a little bit of Malbec in it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you get a little bit of that bourbon kind of character.
And it's a little bit sweet, and you said
and
smoky. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's fun.
It's got some caramel character. You get
Caramel,
that caramel.
that's it.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we were looking for, was the
Okay.
caramel characteristic. Yes.
Yeah. So,
As we're sitting here, people are walking in the tasting room.
exactly. So, time to come
Friday
drink.
afternoon.
That's right.
You're getting busy in here.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about our place is we're open till 7 on Thursdays, 7 on Fridays, 7 on Saturdays, and 6 on Sundays. So we're actually a later open place. So we
Okay.
usually tend to get a little bit busier in the afternoons.
Sure. That is nice.
TGIF,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. So, were you all inspired? Because it's a trend that I've noticed is that wineries using spirits barrels for aging their wines.
Yeah, so Holger came up with the idea, and of course, I like fun. So to me, it just sounded fun.
Yeah.
And some of the other people that work here, I'm not going to name any names. They were like poo-pooing it. Like,
You know who they are.
They were poo-pooing it, we're not doing that. When they looked at it, they said, well, it is only 1% of our production the first time. So, all right, okay, let's try it, because, well, of course, I wanted to try it, and I'm the boss, so.
There's something great about being the boss,
The
right?
boss, right? So we did just do 2 barrels, and and even those that poo-pooed it before, they just loved it also. So we are going to expand it this year, do a little bit more.
Sure. So 2 barrels comes out to roughly, 600 bottles? Or 50 cases?
Yeah, just
50
under
cases, yeah.
50 cases, because their bourbon barrels actually hold a little bit less.
Okay.
Than,
Yeah.
than the wine barrels.
And you told us how long it was on the shelf?
It sold out in 3.5 days.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it just flew off the shelf.
Wow.
Awesome. That's awesome. So,
Well, congratulations. That's a fun
there's
one.
demand for it.
Yeah, I wrote something on the back of the bottle, but hey, Holger, do you have the bottle of the bourbon? I've written a few things on some of the back of the bottles, like when we did our Bordeaux blend, O Loco Rojo. I named that after my uncle, the crazy redhead, and I came up with something on the back. And this one, you want to hear what it says?
Yes.
All right, so, Against the Grain. I almost need glasses, though. Thank you. One morning, I met a purple-haired, tattooed, genuinely fun, caring, wine-loving Great Dane daddy at the dog park. He naturally had to work for Wood Family Vineyards to truly express his talents, his vivaciousness for life. This serious red wine aged in bourbon barrels is just one of his outrageous ideas that made sense to us and reminds us to step out of the box, go against the grain, and have a little fun in this life of ours. Prost.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool.
Great. Yeah.
That's fun you wrote that.
Thank
That's
you.
really
I
good.
mean, I think it's, stories like that kind of make it relatable for people.
Yeah.
It's not just this wine on a pedestal.
Yes.
It's something, that you can enjoy, share the story.
and your adventurous spirit, the former pilot, why not roll the dice with something different? I get that. That's cool. Good for you.
We're going to roll the dice a little now with some rapid fire questions that you have no idea, Rhonda. So just whatever comes to the top of your mind. And you want to start?
Well, sure. I'll start with a fun one, an easy one. Cork or screw cap?
Cork.
Red, white, or pink?
Red.
Ooh, and do you have a favorite varietal?
I'm supposed to be fast at this, huh?
There's no prize, actually, or penalty, so.
There's no buzzer.
Well, I just said red. I'm going to say Chardonnay.
Good. See, keep us guessing.
That's okay. The best wine you've ever had? Or was there a wine that was your aha moment?
I'm not thinking of one.
Okay.
A wine that you had at a special time that was like,
My husband and I, we drove down to San Diego one time, and we stopped at a restaurant, and we had this beautiful bottle of Syrah, but I cannot remember what it was. But it was like an aha, I do love Syrah. And we do love to go out to restaurants and order some special wines that we are not able to get other places, or when you're sharing with friends. So I remember more the experience rather than the name of the wine that we were drinking.
As it should be, right? Because that's what wine is about, the experience.
Absolutely. Okay. Ice cubes in wine or no?
If that's what it takes for you to drink our wine and buy more, yes.
Good answer. Absolutely. All right. Stems on your wine glass or no?
Stems.
Your favorite place to drink wine?
In the jacuzzi.
Yes. All right. Okay, kind of along that same line, a favorite wine destination besides Livermore Valley?
Oh, Italy.
All right.
Where in Italy?
Montepulciano.
Okay, so you're a Chianti.
I just love being there. I also love France and Bordeaux. I have to say, I just went to Bordeaux, and that was awesome.
What's your go-to wine?
Chardonnay.
Yeah. And what do you drink when you're not drinking wine?
Whiskey or beer.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
If you weren't making wine, what would you be doing now?
Flying.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You're a pilot.
Oh, yeah. I still fly. I mean, yeah.
Do you fly general aviation?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Little airplanes right
Which
now.
ones do you fly?
My friend, actually a club member and friend, has a tri-pacer that he lets me fly.
Oh, how great.
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate to be able to go out and fly his airplane.
That's fun.
Great. And where do you fly to?
I just went to Colombia in the foothills. It's a little gold country town, so we flew there. Went to Lodi and just met a girlfriend for lunch. She flew her airplane in there.
Oh, how fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, our next flight is probably going to be Paso Robles.
Oh, I was just there. They have a great spirits trail there now. So if you like whiskey, there's some places I can tell you about.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah.
All right, back to our list.
Yes.
Any lessons you've learned through making wine? What has wine taught you over the years?
You don't have to move so fast on everything. You can sit back and take a minute and, wait. For instance, we don't have to inoculate this wine with yeast today. We can wait till tomorrow and the next day. You don't have to act so fast on things.
Best wine you've ever made?
It depends on what you like to drink.
Good answer.
Okay, final question, I think, unless Mary has another one. What will you be drinking tonight?
What we just opened.
Because that should not go to waste.
Right?
Exactly.
Especially the red wine aged in bourbon barrels that came out
delicious.
of our library.
Yeah. Really, really nice. I understand why it flew off the shelves.
Right.
Fantastic. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much for joining us on Sip Sip Hooray. It's been so fun visiting with you. And
yes, we want to encourage our listeners to come on out to Wood Family Vineyards in the Livermore Valley. Just such a fun spot, great wines, and we so appreciate spending this time with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you both, Mary and Mary.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sip, sip, hooray.
Sip, sip, hooray.
Worried about keeping up with your fave friends all summer? Or posting every perfectly pink sunset you see? Don't sweat the Connect. You can have it made in the shade with 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month. Scroll the staycation pics, find your new go-to takeout spot, or catch some rays on video chat. Whatever you and the crew are into, all the data makes it all that much better. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket Core acquired on 4 lines. Data speed limited to 3 megabits per second. Cricket may slow data speeds when the network is busy. Additional fees, usage, and restrictions apply.
Get to Kohl's during our biggest jean sale, going on this Thursday through Monday. Get 40 to 50% off Levi's for the family, and get men's and women's denim, just $24.99 and under. Plus, take $10 off when you spend $25 or more. Plus, get $5 Kohl's cash for every $25 spent. Plus, fast and free store pickup. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, 10 off 25, valid September 3rd through September 7th. Promo code Labor Day. Levi's, offers and coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.